Okay, let's talk a little bit about research studies because I posted a research study to prove a point that hospitals kill people. And of course, that study, as well as pretty much every other study that I've read in the US, has problems. Lots of problems pop up, and a lot of those problems are because of the system of how studies are done and applied, as well as biases and corporations trying to control things. So it's like when you post a study that says that the hospitals call this much, and some of the flaws are that, like, they just arbitrarily put sample sizes all over that they mathematically figured out. Like, they had to do that because corporations aren't going to give them the real statistics. Like, they're not going to get there and open up and say, oh, yeah, this is how many people we accidentally kill. They're going to hide that stuff as much as possible, and they're corporations. So, like, they can, right? These would be exactly the people that could hide all of that stuff to skip out on liability. And I'm not saying it's always intentional, but like to say it doesn't happen is ridiculous. How many stories have we heard of like nurses on their deathbed admitting to fucking killing people? Like, come on. Come on. I think that healthcare workers should have way more union protections and push back against that. We've got doctors and nurses and people who just don't care. And it shows that people don't care because they won't even mask for an airborne disease. So it shows people don't care. And I do believe that that stems from trauma, but you have to work on your trauma. You can't go hurting other people because of your trauma and not expect any consequences or people to say anything about it. It is a part of a bigger system. They abuse doctors. The way that like school is, the 12-hour shifts, none of that is necessary today. But there are systems in place that are upholding and making us all enslaved in some kind of way so that we keep working for capitalism. But as a collective, we have to fix it together. And if we can't get nurses and doctors to do their part and accept responsibility and really put their foot down, really demand things within their own profession, then it's never going to work. It's never going to work. Anyway, that's my rant. Scientific studies absolutely should be looked at very closely. You know, what I figured out in academia is a lot of times it's just a person has an interest in an idea and that's what they go study. Very seldom are studies replicated unless it's for something like FDA drug trials. That stuff is replicated. But somebody will do a study and put it in there, we should replicate this study. And it almost never happens. Almost never happens. So we only end up having that one study to go off of. Absolutely look at studies and see what the flaws are, but take it a step further and think about why are those flaws that way? Could we even get accurate data? Probably not if corporations are controlling it. And that's why sometimes you have to not bend numbers, but you have to apply certain things in ways that maybe aren't exactly accurate because you have to work off of the information that you have. So when you read a research study, you take all of that into account, and sometimes you have to think about the implications that aren't written as well, and look up all the biases and look who funds them. It all comes into play. But a research paper is better than, an opinion piece. Even still, even with all the flaws that can be in research papers, it is still worthy to look at them and take them and learn from them.